Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach, and it's it's Dire Straits here on the front of Insane's team. I'm a little speechless. It's sort of, you know, this year on Supercoach, I feel like it's just not quite my year. I'm feeling it. We scored. I mean, we'll get into the finer points in a moment here, but like, we scored 1,015, and you're gonna see the absolute travesty. You probably know what's coming, but yeah, quite a bit of travesty in the team, and but like, we had some great scores, like all across the board. We had some incredible scores, and it's like, if just this could have been like a big week for us, but no, it wasn't. Surprisingly, we only dropped 4,555 spots. I wasn't sure, because I've seen so many like 1,200, 1,300 scores. Like, it's a big week, but there was also a lot of carnage that, you know, there were definitely some popular players that went down and got sent off and whatnot. So to drop 4,500 spots, I don't know. I at the end of the day, we're still in it, and it'll honestly, at this point, like, obviously a high finish is, well, you never know. That's sort of if we can come home strong, if the luck can just turn a little bit, I would love it. And if we just, and I'll be honest, I've made some mistakes with the trades as well. I feel like I've done a few silly things, but even the silly things, they weren't necessarily terrible decisions, but they've ended up being catastrophic. But let's get into the team. Also, the other thing, I'm going to be honest, if I didn't do content for Supercoach, I would be very tempted. Like, I probably wouldn't just stop playing, but I would be a little bit less, like, checking the teams and being, like, really do my due diligence to lock it in and stuff. I'd be a little bit haphazard, but obviously it's still fun. At the end of the day, this was one of those weeks where, like, you couldn't help but laugh at it, just with all the things that just went wrong. And oh my god, we're gonna get to the other one too, because there was a couple of main ones, obviously, but then one sort of just really stuffed me. But the big scores: Reece Robson, 117. My man was on fire. Like, he was unreal. And I mean, it was against the Titans, right? It was against the Titans forward pack, so I would expect a good dummy half to rip them to shreds, and he did. But yeah, he scored 117. Honestly, he could have been like 150. He was that good. Not that he got dudded with the scoring, but there was so many times where there was no marker. He scooted out. He like hit someone on the hard line, and they were like just like so close to. He had like almost like 4 or 5 line break assists of like just getting dragged down. Like, he was unbelievable. He had like 3 or 4 offloads. Yeah, he's been a saving light, starting him at dummy half. Api Coruscant, after all the chaos at the start of the week, Api Coruscant comes out, and I wasn't really paying attention to the pregame or anything, but this was so weird. So he was heavily strapped. They made mention that he did some sort of niggle to his quad in warm-up, right? And at that point, I'm just like, oh, come on, bro. Come on, please. And he didn't look good. I mean, the Tigers as a whole didn't look good in that first half, and Api Coruscant looked hindered. He didn't look free-flowing. He went off in like the 20 to 30th minute, and I was like, yep, that seems to be about right. That's it. But then second half, he came out with no strapping, and he looked electric. Like, he was running. He looked dangerous. He got a nice try assist. So I don't know. Honestly, during that game, I was very tempted when the week opened that I was going to trade him out to someone like a Brayley, because there's a couple of reasons for this, right? I mean, one, if he does have like a niggle and he's not goal kicking, that's a massive sort of, it's not a massive issue, but it is a massive point reduction for Api. And I do think he's going to play Origin. So That's that. And the other part, and this is one of the little mistakes I think I made. It's not a big mistake because Api Coruscant, he's made quite a bit of cash. He's almost made 100k thereabouts. He scored some decent points, but I didn't want to spend this much money in my dummy half slots. I mean, I guess both these guys have gone up substantially, but they've still spent like over $1 million in the dummy half spot, which I didn't want to do. And I just feel like if I can downgrade Appy to a Brayley who looked pretty good. He looked pretty good. I'll check his stats. I know he only scored like 30 odd, but I think he played the full game. Maybe didn't quite play the 80, but I don't know. I was half tempted, but then obviously the second half he came out looking good. He got the try assist, so I don't know. That's probably a trade that is a little bit pointless, but at the same time getting the cash to fix up some other issues in the team, because it's like, dude, last week in the preview I was like, my team is looking pretty good. Like, I'm not too displeased with most of it. After the weekend, I'm like, the team needs a revamp. It needs something, even though most of it's actually still pretty good. It's just it's just a couple of guys, but I don't know. We'll talk more about the Appy thing later in the week, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure. It would free up like, yeah, good like 300k, but that's the thing. I've got good depth in the team. It's like I don't need to play like two gun dummy halves, especially because Robson's going so well. So, but yeah, we'll talk about more about that later. Terrell May with a whopping 21 points in about 20 minutes. I mean, this one, like, I don't care. Like, everybody who's going good, or like most people who's going good, have Terrell May. I don't know. I think I heard that it was because the send off, like they only played with one prop for the game. I thought he had a bit of a niggle coming into the game, potentially. There's a few things floating around, but I don't know. I'm not too worried. I mean, I think the Roosters definitely need Terrell May to play bigger minutes. I don't know. It was a weird one. My boy Liam Henry with a -1 to his name. So, yeah, that's not great. And I gotta be honest, I don't know how the scoring worked this week. Because if you get a negative, I'm pretty sure, like, you don't get an auto emergency with the negative, right? Is that how it works? Like, if you scored 0, you would get the AE, but because you went negative, you get the negative points. Is that how it works? I know you only get 1 AE at the best of times, so regardless, I definitely copped some negative points. But yeah, Liam Henry, not when I needed him most, because he's done a great job for me. He actually still fucking made money with a -1 score. He's now going to have a 52 break even. So, honestly, there is a temptation now to potentially trade him off because, yeah, I don't know. That's one to think about. Obviously, they have a bye this week, so it's not a urgent sell, unless you need another front rower, which yeah, maybe we do. Sam Hughes, of course, we didn't play. I mean, even if Sam Hughes started the game, obviously with that late change, I wasn't going to play Hughes over Henry. Even if Hughes did start the game, I probably was just going to go with Henry. He's done a great job for me, but of course, Hughes, he played bigger minutes. He got a try. It is what it is. He's going to make cash, and hopefully the minutes stay increased, because I'll definitely need to play him this week, unless I obviously get in another front row forward, which we could do. But if Hughes is going to play, like, because how many minutes? It was obviously inflated, but again, like, Max King's probably out, Kurt Mann's out, Kickout's out. Like, they're going to need him to play bigger minutes. He played 43, so I mean, if he can just play 40 minutes, score 40 points, I will take that with pleasure. Our back row. So here is where the other major thing happens. So Kai Pearce-Paul, 50 points. He wasn't like 60, I thought, but he downgraded, which is annoying, but still a great play. Sean Lane, 37. The Parramatta Eels were fucking garbage. I'll save you for a second. Beau Fermor, 71. Oh my goodness, that was a miracle. Again, this was just another thing that I thought was like, it was just my weekend, right? Because Fermor, he actually started the game well. Like, he was taking some runs. His base was up. The first 10, 15 minutes, he was getting through his work. And then, of course, Kieran Foran gets injured. There was a mix-up or like a makeshift lineup, and Fermor, of course, goes into the centers, and I was like, great, here we go. He's going to get like 30 points and stink it up because he's not going to get any ball. But he scores a beautiful try. He's still got the speed, old Fermor. He looks good in open flight, but 71 points. Oh, that's a godsend. Morgan Smithies, of course, we didn't play Smithies. He got 69 points, played the 80 minutes. I'm pretty sure. And then Benny Trebojevic, 48 points, which, I mean, I'll take. I wasn't going to play him, but we'll take it. And then Tupanua. So you're probably looking like, why is Tupanua on your team when you had Curran traded out for him? Well. The thing with that, of course, the late news, Nat Butcher was out and Tupanua was going to be starting. And it was like, I was using a boost to go Tupanua to Curran, and at the end of the day, it was like, it's not really worth a boost if Tupanua is going to be starting, right? His break-even's like 40. If he's starting on the edge, he could play big minutes. They're taking on the Dogs. Like, surely there's a little bit upside for Tupanua. Oh, how I was wrong. And Tupanua, even, like, he obviously he played the full fucking 80 minutes. He went to the centers, but even if he didn't go to the center, he is trash. Like, he just doesn't look like he wants to run the ball. Like, he just doesn't touch the football. So, I mean, that's a 40-point swing. I know Josh Curran got like 60 points. And yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones where, like, it was the... in my opinion, that was the right decision to reverse the boost, because boosts are valuable. And it was like... bro, him playing big minutes, it was like... getting like 40 points would have been like, okay, fair enough. And Curran getting like 50 to 60. Like, it would have been like a decent swing, but I could have looked another week and seen. But no, of course, Tupanua fucking, like, the Roosters were just trash. Why did we ever put faith in our Roosters players, dude? I don't know. And he did lose cash, obviously. I mean, thankfully, like I said, his break-even wasn't that high, so he did lose only 13k. He's made 9,000, almost 10k, so good on you, Tupanua. You've done me a fucking great service, and yeah, that's just... I couldn't believe it. It was just... Oh, that game, dude, that game. The only thing that would have been worse if Curran, like, sneaked over for a try and got, like, 75, 80 plus, but thankfully he didn't. He got like, I don't know, he got like 60 something or whatever. Our halves, so Luke Brooks with a 55, honestly can't complain with that, taking on Penrith. We'll get to the other annoying one in a second, but yeah, we'll take 55 from Brooks. Ethan Strange, 96 points. Oh, you love to see it. I mean, I'm still very happy with the two cheapy 5'8 options. I know pretty much most people are going to have this now. I had it a couple of weeks earlier and it felt good, but obviously everybody's sort of going to be running this at some stage anyway, with just how shit the 5'8s are going. But that was fantastic. Then we get to our back line. So Val Holmes, we had him in, we chucked the captaincy on him, 93 points. It could have been more, dude. Like, oh, he bombed a couple of chances to get like the quick pass away to Talangi to get a line break or a try assist. Like, he could have been so much more, but it's just, again, it's one of those weeks. Like, it just wasn't going to be. I can't be annoyed with a 93 pointer for our captaincy, especially how it's been lately, but it's fine. Tulvashek, 61, thankfully scored that try. Taylor May, 38, again, just being a little bit lackluster, but still without Cleary, and yeah, their attack is just not as good. And I got it, yeah, the fact that he is outside of Jerome Luai just doesn't pass the ball. He just always skips back on the inside. It's just a fucking... It's just a graveyard for the outside men on that left-hand side with Luai there, but oh well. Jack Bostock, 50 points. Love to see it. Talangi, 30 points. Obviously, he was the cheapie of the week last week. I'm a little scared that he is going to lose his spot. But if he can just get like 2 more games and get a nice price rise in the next couple of games, I will take it. But I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried that Talangi is not long for this Eels lineup. It's not that like he's playing that bad, but I don't think him and Brown work well at all. I think having Brown at halfback is it's just not good for Brown. It's just not good at all. And then our boy Dom Young, a -15. A -15. Who would have thought trading a man in who scored 150 a couple of weeks ago? 150. He scored 30 against Penrith. Okay, it's fine. And you thought he's still going to make some good cash. No. Takes on the Bulldogs. -15. Oh, that one stings. That one's a big swing too, because like I said, I think that -15 did take off my score, which is just so funny. And like when I bought Young in, like I was keen on other guys as well. Like, I mean, Garrick, I sort of was, but obviously he got knocked out this week, so a bit of a shame for people at Garrick. But I was keen on Manu, I was keen on Lomax, but I went with Young just because of that huge score and the money-making potential. And that was a huge mistake, all things considered. I mean, I guess thankfully now we've got a free trade. Well, not a free trade, it's going to cost us, but he is 650k still. We can get pretty much, well, we can get a lot of good players in for Dom Young, so it's going to cost us a trade. We got 350k in the bank, which is lovely to see. Actually, how do we have so much money in the bank? We traded in Talangi for Torpicki, and also the other trade in, Ryan Papenhuyzen for Tommy Trbojevic. I mean, it was it was always going to happen, right? Like, Tommy, of course, Tommy taking on Penrith. You just knew, like, I'm still not, this trade I'm not necessarily that annoyed about. Like, it is annoying, obviously. You trade in a guy that gets half the score of the guy you traded out, but I still think Tom was a trade out, like, later in the season. It was just the fact we did it early. Because I thought at the time was right for Pappy. Unfortunately, the major issue here is that Papenhuyzen, like, dude, again, this game, it was frustrating to watch Papenhuyzen because, like, the first 15 minutes, he was in the game. Like, he was on, like, 15 points after 15 minutes. He was running the ball. He was getting involved. And then I think from, like, the 20th minute to the 50th minute, my man didn't get a single point. Like, he didn't touch the ball. He was just sort of standing around the back of the ruck and not doing anything. I was getting very tilted. It was like watching Kalen Ponga the first couple of weeks, which I didn't expect. So I'm just hoping that was just the way the game fell, because I don't know, the other games I've watched Papenhuyzen, like, he's looked really involved, but this game, for whatever reason, after about the 20th minute, he faded out of the contest. But I don't know. I'm still happy-ish with the trade. I mean, they take on the Dogs this week. I'm praying for a big one. Please, for the love of God, can one of my trade-ins actually do good stuff for me? That would be nice. I mean, Val Holmes has been okay. Well, he's been good, but everyone else has pretty much stunk it up. And then Kalen Ponga, I mean, honestly, very glad I did not trade out Kalen Ponga when a lot of people were. I ended up going Dylan Brown out instead of him, and that has worked beautifully. So, I mean, yeah, very happy I kept Ponga. And, I mean, honestly, I wasn't that tempted to trade Ponga. I get that he wasn't looking great and the Knights weren't looking great, but the draw coming up was fantastic, and you know the ceiling, so it's good to see a little bit of reward there for Ponga. So, yeah, that's how we sit. Again, like, I did save a boost. Obviously now Curran has got the dual front row forward status, so yeah, I mean, in hindsight, yes, the boost would have been nice to use last week and get rid of Tupanua, but I still think it was the right play not to use the boost with Tupanua starting. It just didn't work out. I mean, now we just have to, we are 100% using a boost this week. It's just a matter of what we're doing. So, The front row forwards, again, I'm happy to play Sam Hughes with Henry being out, and also he's on the bye anyway. Obviously, the back row, Tupanua he's fucking gone. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so happy to see him go. It's gonna be so good. Tupanua's gone. It's just a matter of who we bring in. I mean, Curran is still not that expensive. He's like 500k, so we could still bring in Curran, and he'll have the duels. So that would, I am leaning towards Curran just because of it sort of sorts out our front row issue. Like we can bring in Curran. And then at some point we can swing him up to the front row and I don't know, trade one of these guys to probably enough. I would think. But we'll have to think about that, think what we're going to do there. But Curran, I mean, there's obviously a couple other back rowers of note as well, but it's fine. We got some depth there to play. Our halves, they're fine at the moment. Obviously, Cleary is not back this week with the bye, but then next week, if Cleary is back, we are going to be looking to bring him. Do we bring him straight back in? I don't know. We'll have a closer look at Penrith's draw and also who I want to trade out for Cleary, because we could just trade out Brooks. I'm honestly not opposed of trading out Luke Brooks and yeah, because I mean the plan was to swing Brooks back into the 5'8" spot, but I mean with Galvin and Strange going so well, it's like, do you really need to? Probably not. Dom Young, he's got to go, and we definitely have some options there. The one thing actually that I remembered is Tamari Martin. I mean, he looked really good. The Warriors have a sensational draw coming up. He's fairly cheap, I think. Again, we'll have a better look in the preview, but we could bring Strange back down to center, trade Dom Young to a Tamari Martin. I don't mind that. And then we have like another 300k, or I can't remember how much he is exactly, but then we got more money to spend. I know James Schiller is going to be a very popular cheapie this week. I mean, if he gets named, he's obviously going to come straight into the team. Like he's going to make so much cash. And then, yeah, I mean, Pappenhausen, we're obviously going to hold. Ponga, we're going to hold. Just hope that Pappy can go big. And yeah, it's just a matter of, yeah, I mean, I still think the team's like okay. Like we just need a bit of luck, please. But yeah, Tupanua's gone, Dom Young's gone, and then we'll use a boost. Yeah, we will use a boost. It's either bringing in, yeah, another cheapie like a Schiller if he's named, or if he isn't named, then we can do other things like maybe, you know, I don't know, trading out another back row. We could trade out Sean Lane for a better back rower. I don't hate it, but yeah, we'll have a look when the time comes after team lists and whatnot. But overall, at this point, it's just a matter of like the fine balance now, right? Because I still think we can still have a good surge in the middle and later parts of the season. It's just a matter of like we need to be like, there's two parts, right? We need to use our trades to bring in guys, right? Or not really bring in guys, but get out guys that are just stinking it up, right? Get out guys that are stinking it up and try to make a bit of a swing that way. But we also need to start saving trades, because I think middle of the year to the back end of the year, that's where we can actually really start to hopefully make some ground if we can have trades in the bank and go hard then and get a little bit of luck. But we'll see. Other than that, that's pretty much the wrap up for the round. Not too much else to say. Hopefully guys are enjoying the series. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.